Welcome back to Villars-sous-Écot, everybody. The final race, the final round of 2017. The FIM Motocross World Championship has been a great one this year. And rounding it off here at Villars-sous-Écot, a venue that first hosted a round back in 1982. That winner that day was the legendary André Malherbe. We continue to come here, but it's not that often we've been here. 82, it was Malherbe. 86, Jackie Vimont. 98, Stefan Everts. 2015, Jeffrey Hurlings and Roman Febvre stood on the top steps of the MX2 and MXGP podiums, respectively. We also had a Motocross Nations here back in 1988. But this is the final round of 2017, the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. It's been a mixed weekend in terms of weather conditions, but I'm glad to say that for the second half of the day at least, the rain has stayed away. The track is starting to dry out. We just saw a great MX2 moto a moment ago on improving conditions. So hopefully we'll have an equally fitting MXGP race for the season finale. But here's what happened earlier in MXGP race 1, a little earlier in the day. Track conditions were treacherous in moto number 1. From over on the far side, it was Max Anstey who grabbed the foxhole shot, edging out Jeffrey Hurlings, but he lost out on the exit of turn 1 to Glenn Coldenhoff, Roman Febvre and Tim Geiser. Hurlings came out of there about 6th. Bobryshev about 7 riders back, tangled, got himself caught, went down, picked himself up and rejoined the race. Tony Cairoli also had an off-track excursion on the opening lap as well, but it was Tim Geiser who led the way for HRC. Coldenhoff for 2nd, Febvre was 3rd, went to 2nd pretty quickly as he headed up the inside of the Dutchman. Towards the end of the first lap, went in pursuit of the Slovenian. Paul Ann was alongside Van Horbeke, who fell in front of him. Was lucky not to get landed on there. Van Horbeke fell from 6th, went down to 8th, and eventually came home in 8th place. Paul Ann took the scenic route at the bottom one of the hills, and that allowed Jeffrey Hurlings to catch him, and half a lap later, the bullet was past the Frenchman. That put Hurlings on course for a top 5 place. He charged down the inside of his teammate, Glenn Coldenhoff. That got him up into 4th, and then he went after Max Anstey. Tony Cairoli, a little bit further back, was struggling in the conditions. He eventually came home in 9th, despite finding his way past Jeremy Van Horbeke briefly, but that was a move of the day. Jeffrey Hurlings down the inside of Max Anstey to get himself into 3rd with about 4 laps to go. Despite getting close on numerous occasions, the Monster Energy Yamaha of 461, Roman Febvre, could not do anything about Tim Geiser. Then back markers started to come into play, and that was all she wrote. Tim Geiser was able to bring his HRC Honda home. He came through the final turn, and he took the race win in MXGP race 1. Febvre was 2nd, Hurlings, Anstey and Paul Ann rounded out the top 5. Anyway, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid ahead of MXGP race 2. She caught up with Scott Redding a few moments ago, one of the stars of MotoGP.
Hello and welcome to the start of the final race of the year. MXGP race 2 is just about to go ahead, but joining me we have a special guest. We have MotoGP rider Scott Redding. Scott, great to have you here. You're not used to all this mud, are you, really?
No, I'm not used to it. I do love motocross, but you know, normally I'm riding for training, but to be here and getting involved with something on such a high level is an amazing experience for me also.
And I've heard you've been celebrating as well earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Chiara managed to pull the championship out of the bag from something we didn't expect. It was a big ask, and she did really well. I'm so proud she didn't give up, and it was a bit lucky, but at the end you have to be in and you have to do the work, and that is what she done, and she deserved the 5th title what she got today.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your championship. Up and down year, hasn't it, been for you? Currently 12th in the standings, but a solid result last round in Misano.
Yeah, in the middle of the championship, I had some difficult races. I was trying too hard to prove myself, and then after I got the new contract with Aprilia, I managed to let that go. I had 2-7 position at P12 and starting to get some feeling, so now I'm enjoying again, riding more like myself and understanding the bike. maybe a little bit late, but still a few races to go, and I want to show my potential I have.
Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you try joining the MXGP Championship instead next year? We'd love to have you on the start line.
You know, when I see the conditions out there today, I would struggle to make a lap. You know, I have great respect for all those guys and all those girls out there for what they do. It's amazing, you know. I love to watch it. The dedication, the effort they put in is something special, you know, so big respect to all of them.
Scott, great to have you here. Enjoy the rest of your day and good luck in Aragon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Scott Redding there. Okay, it's time for the MXGP Race 2.
The final race of the year then, the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard here at Villars-sous-Écot in the east of France. Max Anstey will go to the line on pole for the first time at this final round, ahead of Romain Febvre, Jeffrey Hurlings, Gauthier Paulin, Kevin Strybos, and the rest of the riders here in France. Conditions have improved out on the racetrack. Sure, the machines have been out there just clearing one or two dodgy areas as well, but on the whole, it's still a very difficult racetrack. Lap times did improve somewhat in MX2 Race 2, a little earlier to what they were in Moto number 1, to the tune of about 10 or 12 seconds. So I'm expecting the lap time from MXGP Race 1 earlier today, where the fastest lap was Jeffrey Hurlings with a 2:04.0 on his way to third, should come down just a little bit more. MXGP Race 2 is up next.
Et s'il avait changé de lunettes, je pense qu'il pourrait en utiliser caché dans sa sacoche banane à l'arrière. En fait, son dos. Romain Febvre qui a pris une option totalement originale. Il est en plein centre de la
Romain Febvre in the what looks like a limited edition French Grand Prix colorway of that 2018 Alpine Stars clothing, in the colors of the tricolor. He was second in race 1. 2 places clear of this guy, number 99, Max Anstey, who grabbed the foxhole shot for the second time this year in Moto number 1. What about Jeffrey Hurlings? He is in a good position, actually, to stand on the top step of the podium. Third in Moto number 1. Gauthier Paulin, likewise, 5th in race 1. Could get on the podium here. Once again, resplendent in white. His number on the back in the colours of the French flag, and he obviously has the tricolor goggles as well. Everybody taking their positions. Cairoli starting a little bit further down this end, look, and also the 2 Yamahas of Van Hoorbeek and Febvre. See them just to the left of the podium as we look at it. There's Tim Geiser, your winner from race 1. That was the 8th race win of the year for the former world champion. Max Nagel on his one of his last rides for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. He came home 14th in Moto number 1. He was 10th at one point, but just made a couple of mistakes, faded back. There is the 92 of Valentin Guillot, the Swiss rider for Asamoto Red Moto Honda. And Tony Cairoli takes his place on the gate. Can he round out with a result better than a 9th that he picked up in Moto number 1? We're almost ready to go here. MXGP Race 2, 30 minutes plus 2 laps for the final time in 2017. It's round 19 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. All the titles have been decided. Every rider on the grid now will want to get the best result possible to end the season on a high. It's the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard here at Villars-sous-Écot. The last time we were here, it was Romain Febvre who was on the top step of the podium for his first ever Grand Prix win. The Monster Energy Yamaha rider, who was second in race 2, is in a good position to do the double. The 15-second board has gone up here. Ingo Parch, our FIM race director, will signal the 5-second board any moment now, and then the gate will drop for the final time in 2017. The final race of the year is go, and that was a long hold there, and it's one of the Hondas, Bobryshev down the inside, but again, Anstey and Hurlings duke it out. It was close between them over the foxhole shot line. There's Paulin buried at the back, and Febvre over to the right-hand side as well. He's also buried and almost goes off the machine. He is, he's parked at turn 2. Roman Febvre is down. Well, he's upright, but he was stalled there for a moment. But it's Anstey who leads, coming out of turn 3. Hurlings is second. Bobryshev in third place. Then we've got the Yamaha, I think, of Simpson and Tonus, and Geiser just ahead of them. So the lead fluorescent colours there, the two Wilbo Yamahas, Simpson and Tonus. Bobryshev going after Jeffrey Hurlings at the top of the hill. But it's Anstey who leads away. The final race of the year on the opening lap. Hurlings second, Bobryshev third, Geiser fourth. The two Wilbo Yamahas of Simpson and Tonus. Are they fifth and sixth in that order? Tonus emerges over the hill ahead of his teammate. As Geiser goes past his teammate, Bobryshev gets himself into third, drops down the Monster Energy hill for the first time. None of these riders went out on a sighting lap before the start of the race because of the precarious nature of the circuit. Of course, it is optional whether you go out on the sighting lap, everybody deciding to park their bikes in the waiting zone. Hurlings nicely into the waves. Oh, what a great line. What great technique through there. He's going to close up onto the rear end of the 99 of Max Anstey, but at the end of this unofficial first lap, of course, they need to hit the finish line twice to do that, and it's Anstey who leads by 2.5 seconds over Jeffrey Hurlings. All the way out to Paris and back is Tim Geiser on that HRC Honda, so far wide he was almost back in the paddock, but he's pulled it back and he's got himself right back into contention onto that Red Bull KTM of Jeffrey Hurlings in third for the Slovenian. Fourth is Tonus, Bobryshev fifth, Van Horbik sixth, Simpson seventh, Cairoli, Koldenhoff and Growlers. Jason Clermont wildcarding here this weekend in 11th. Paulin is 12th, Febvre is 13th. Pretty good going after messing up at turn 2 after a poor start as well. So Febvre with one thing on his mind then, just throwing it all out there. Man at the top of the hill there, couldn't see who that was. It might have been Ander Valentin, actually. He's the only guy not to come through. Oh, back end just stepping out, Geiser's HRC Honda. The first of the Monster Energy downhills. That is not a 2.5 second gap anymore between the 99 of Max Anstey and the 84 of Jeffrey Hurlings, battling over first and second. This racetrack a lot more open than it was, doubling his way in towards the Tag Heuer hip jump, face full of roost off the rear end of Anstey's Husqvarna. Jeffrey Hurlings not bothered by that, didn't even flinch. Takes a slightly tighter line, might have been a cleaner line as well. Up on the pegs and pushing all the time. Later on the brakes, harder on the brakes, a little bit more committed there from Jeffrey Hurlings as he gets ever closer to Anstey towards the end of this first official full lap. A little bit greasy on the takeoff there as Anstey just saw the back end, just stepping out a little bit. Too early for showboating. But Anstey will lead as they hit the Monster Energy finish line for the first time then. A 1:54.444 eclipsed by the 53.774 of Jeffrey Hurlings. Geiser third, already 6 seconds further back. Tonus for Wilbo Yamaha is fourth. Cairoli's Red Bull KTM is up to fifth. He's just found his way past the HRC Honda of Evgeny Bobryshev. Van Horbik's Monster Energy Yamaha is seventh, ahead of Koldenhoff, Simpson and Febvre, who's now up into 10th place. Paulin 11th. 12 for Strybos on the Suzuki World MXGP machine. His final ride for them in MXGP. Strybos we're talking about. 13th for Damon Growlers on the 24 MX Honda. 14th Leo on the Ottaviano Husqvarna. Nagel 15, Gonçalves 16, Dan Thornhill in the points in 17th. Wildcard rider for the second time in MXGP on the Cap Screens Husqvarna. Jason Clermont 18, Nick Durcourt 19 and Brian Boulard 20. And Hurlings quicker than Anstey towards the top of the hill. As we go back here to the 777 of Evgeny Bobryshev, Tony Cairoli, they're just ahead of him, and Jeremy Van Horbik just behind him. So Van Horbik in 7th place at the moment. Cairoli going after Tonus. It was Valentin parked at the side of the track. No change at the battle for the lead, though. Anstey just pulling a little clearer of Jeffrey Hurlings towards the end of this lap. That is a nice line there. Keeps the back wheel on the ground through those waves. Gets the front wheel up early, Jeffrey Hurlings. Heading uphill. Anstey, 52.5, fastest lap of the race. 52.3 for Hurlings. Again, slightly faster. Gaining a lot of time through those waves at the bottom of the hill. That gap's 7.5 seconds now. Back to Tim Geiser. But that will be good enough for a Grand Prix victory for the Slovenian at the final round here. Federer still with a lot of work to do. He's now up to 9th. He's just found his way past Sean Simpson. Simpson's teammate, Tonus here, number 4, under attack from Tony Cairoli, 2:22, the 9-time world champion. The track starting to get a little bit wider, starting to dry out. Still some really tricky ruts out there, though. Try telling Jeffrey Hurlings that. Going back after Anstey, the battle for the lead. Downhill, when it's dry, this place here, that's such a fast downhill. Riders jump long. So get some gnarly braking bumps towards the bottom, but for the first part of the day, there were just some long old ruts all the way down there. But look at that, Hurlings just doubling over that little double over the crest of the hill. That's where he's gaining time on Anstey, also through the waves on the run up towards the finish line area. Cairoli still not able to do anything about Tonus. Tonus in 4th, Cairoli 5th, Bobryshev just behind him in 6th. Battle for the lead, though, continues between Anstey and Hurlings. Quick look over the shoulder there for Hurlings, just looking to see where Geiser is. He's in 3rd place. His old man had a bit of a crash this week. Done some ribs, he's parked up in hospital. Old Bogo, get well soon. 1.6 the gap between Anstey and Hurlings at the end of lap 2. This is the end of lap 3. A slight bobble there for Hurlings. And Anstey at 51.4, this time half a second quicker than Jeffrey Hurlings. That gap, 2.1 seconds. Still can't afford to relax or switch off, though. Koldenhoff now up in the 7th place. He's just found his way past the Monster Energy Yamaha of Jeremy Van Orbeek. Federer is in 9th, not too far behind. Then Simpson down to 11th because he's also been caught and passed by Gauthier Paulin after the Frenchman made a terrible start to race 2. Bobble there for Hurlings through turn 3, up onto the plateau. Cairoli getting frustrated behind Arno Tonus. Whoop, a little bit out of shape there as well for Cairoli. Manages to get it back into line, and then another bobble through turn 3, but 21.5 minutes to go. Anstey Hurlings still battling up front. Cairoli here hanging on to 5th, just. Evgeny Bobryshev going after Antonio Cairoli. These two fighting over 5th place at the moment. Arno Tonus able just to break free from the 2:22 and the 7:77 as they battle over that 5th place in this MX2 race 2. And Cairoli just looking across to see exactly where the leaders are and who they are in this race. Tim Geiser, 3rd in the race, will stand on the top step of the podium as it stands right now with a win in Moto number 1. 25 points, and 3rd where he is at the moment in race 2 with 20. Anstey will be 2nd on 43 with a 4th and a potential win. Jeffrey Hurlings will be 3rd, 42, with a 3rd and potential 2nd. So Jeffrey Hurlings, even if he gets to 2nd place, even if he, takes the lead, that will be enough for him to win the overall, because that will give him the 3 points to get on to 45, the same as Geiser, and it's the 2nd race that decides it. So a lot on the line here for Jeffrey Hurlings. As he goes in pursuit of Max Anstey once again. 4 laps in. It's Anstey who continues to lead on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Given the amount of rain that we've had the last couple of days, the track holding up remarkably well now in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. Are we going to be in for a freak shower a little later on in the next 20 minutes or so? Yes or no? Hurling's pushing hard as he goes in search of another race win. The Bullet so far this year already on 11 moto victories. Anstey won a qualifying race yesterday, his first win in MXGP. Would love to sit there and pick up 25 points. The final race of the year in his rookie season. Started the day 10th overall, Max Anstey. He will move to 8th in the championship standings, 2 clear of Max Nagel, his teammate. Nagel in 14th position in race 2 at the moment. Down towards the finish line. This is the final turn here, this side of the Ippon jump. And again, Hurling's getting quicker and closer to Anstey. That gap was 2.3 at the end of lap 4. At the end of lap 5, a fastest lap of the race for Anstey, which is a 51.3, goes to a 51.0. It's just over 2 seconds between Anstey and Hurlings. As we pick up Kai Rowley, still trying to find his way past the technical and talented rider number 4 of Arno Tonus. Looks to get to the inside. Will have the advantage at the top of the hill. Tonus goes long. Kai Rowley goes short. Might make the pass stick going down into turn 1. That's exactly what he had on his mind. The Swiss rider nudged aside by the 9-time champ, Tony Kai Rowley. Kai Rowley now in 4th place. Kai Rowley's lap time of 54.2. Not even in the same region as these two guys here. 51.3 for Anstey, 51.0, fastest lap of the race for Hurlings. 53.9 for Geiser, so almost a 54. 56.6 for Tonus, 54.2 for Kai Rowley. Jeffrey Hurlings needs to pass Anstey to win. Anstey doesn't want to give up 25 points without a fight for his first ever race win in MXGP. Tactical game of chess going on here. Jeffrey Hurlings, does he go too early? Or does he sit there and spring a surprise attack? That's what he said he was going to do a week ago in Assen. Or in the US, actually, I think it was, post-race. Kai Rowley's been off. That's in the left-hander along the bottom plateau before the second Monster Energy downhill. So Kai Rowley back to 5th, you would think. What was the gap to his teammate? In fact, I'm wondering if Tonus was involved in that as well, because Bobashev all of a sudden goes up to 4th. So we've lost Tonus and Kai Rowley 1 or 2 positions. I think Kai Rowley may have fallen and Tonus may have run into the back of him there, because he was ahead at that time. Bobashev has gone through past both of them. Right, there's Tonus going after Bobashev as they hit the line, and there's Kai Rowley. So it was only a momentary slip. Out of turn 1, Tony Kai Rowley. Not the Grand Prix that he would have wished for, but he was world champion last week for the 9th time. This would be only good enough for 9th overall this weekend. The only other time he was close to 9th was when he was 7th in Sweden 4 rounds ago, including this one. And also Patagonia, he was 7th overall. Just behind him, Glenn Koldenhoff, his Red Bull KTM teammate, and the 461 of Roman Febvre. So Febvre's pulled his finger out and he's putting on a chase here. He's going after a podium, but he's a few points shy of that at the moment. There's Paul Ann as well, the 21. So it hasn't been the momentous occasion that Febvre was hoping for just yet. Charging down the inside of Glenn Koldenhoff, still supported every inch of the way by this massive partisan crowd as he looks to go after the 259 of Glenn Koldenhoff. Koldenhoff in 7th, Febvre on the blue Yamaha in 8th. Takes a slightly tighter line. The rain starting to fall again. It's been one of those weekends. Intermittent showers throughout the course of the Grand Prix. Febvre goes to the inside, almost off balance. Somehow keeps that Monster Energy Yamaha upright and on track. Nicely into the waves though. He's going to find his way past Koldenhoff at the end of the straight. Side by side with the Dutchman. He will have the inside. He will just move across and take the line away from Koldenhoff. Gets himself up into 7th place by the time he hits the Monster Energy finish line at the end of 7 laps. The rain falling hard. These riders started with laminates. Don't be surprised if some of the goggles go missing at the end of this race. Herlings, wow, ran the outside of Anstey. Anstey held the inside line though at the bottom of the hill, took that lead right back from Herlings. This is for the Grand Prix overall as far as Herlings is concerned. He needs to pass Anstey. He needs those 3 points between the difference between first and second to stand on the top step of the podium here. It's still being governed by Tim Geiser in the overall classification. 45 to him, 43 Anstey, 42 Herlings. Anstey all of a sudden getting a bit of a hurry on. Slight mistake coming out of that turn for the number 99 on that white Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Herlings will find his way through over the waves. He's been quicker through here the entire moto. Watch how he picks the front wheel up early. Just there, keeps the wheel down, but Anstey just shorter through the turn. Equally as impressive from the Brit. Herlings has to wait again. Neither rider getting up onto that plateau. 8 laps gone. Race 1 was 16 laps, actually. Be interesting to see with the quicker lap times whether we get a lap longer, possibly, or not. Anstey gets past the back marker. Herlings stuck behind the back marker there. The other one gives him a wide berth. Lap time in moto number 1 of 2:04. 10 seconds quicker this time around. 150, in fact, more than that. 150 was the lap time early on in the race. 2 laps ago, but we're now in the 54s. So still 10 seconds quicker than it was in moto number 1. As Herlings heads across the plateau, downhill. This is where he was fast. Anstey onto the outside line this time around. So Herlings might have to find another place on the racetrack in which to attack Max Anstey. Geiser is still in 3rd, 16 seconds behind these two fighting over the lead. Bobryshev in 4th, so both the Hondas in their 3rd and 4th. Tonus 5th, Cairoli 6th, Febvre now in 7th, going after Cairoli. Right in front of the French fans at the top of the hill. Febvre goes past Cairoli. They're on their feet, urging Febvre on, despite the miserable conditions now in the second half of this final race of the year at Villars-sous-Écot. 45 seconds down on the race leader, but Febvre will go after Tonus if he can. Tonus is about 3-4 seconds further up the track on his Wilvo Yamaha. Can he close in on the rider on a 2018 Yamaha YZ450F, yes or no? He will continue to dig deep as the rain falls. Right now, though, he is in 6th place, Romain Febvre, the man on screen right now. The rain falls here at Villars-sous-Écot. The final round at the FIM Motocross World Championship, round 19 here at the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. Romain Febvre has just found his way past Tony Cairoli to get himself into 6th. As he hits the Monster Energy finish line this time around, we'll see the gap between him and Arnaud Tonus. Tonus over the line at 57.5 and 55.9 for Febvre. That gap about 3 seconds between the 2 Yamaha riders. Back markers starting to come into play as well as they charge down the hill. This is Jeffrey Herlings on that Red Bull KTM, number 84. 2 guys ahead of him on the white Rockstar Energy Husqvarna is Max Anstey. Anstey has led from the very first lap. Jason Coleman is the back rider there. 8.17 on that Kawasaki. Herlings pulls another tear off. Anstey just ahead of him. And he is the only rider that stands in the way of Jeffrey Herlings taking what would be his 67th Grand Prix victory. Tony Cairoli's decided, you know what? I'm a 9-time champ. I'm going to park it, not risking anything being out there on this racetrack. Tommy Searle was already withdrawn by Steve Dixon earlier on today because of the very, very sticky conditions. He was already riding with a knock to the ankle after Assen a week ago. Decided, you know what? He's still 2 weekends away from the Motocross of Nations in Matterley Basin in England. Save it for that, give the injury time to settle down, to give Team GB every opportunity for a podium on home soil, at the very least. Hurlings 3.7 seconds behind Anstey. Anstey's time of 54.5. Hurlings 1.2 seconds slower that time around. That's the gap between first and second. Oh, nicely done. Front wheel high over that first roller for Jeffrey Hurlings. The track starting to get slick in places. The dry line not so dry anymore. Starting to get polished up. Hurlings second. Geiser is third. 22 seconds behind. A big kick there from Jeffrey Hurlings. He is putting everything into these final 8 minutes now. Not one to give up. Hates losing. Would want to go out the final Grand Prix of the year with another Grand Prix victory. So far, he has 5. Cairoli had 6 in the season. Waved yellows over there. Is that Bobashev? Yeah, Bobashev parked at the end of the straight. Yerny Eert just going through from Araget. But Bobashev then out of 5th place, sorry, as Tonus goes through. Here's Romain Fevre. Fevre now up into 4th. He's 2 points away off the podium, so he might still make the podium here. Been a hard charge for the former world champ, 2015 MXGP world champion. He's 5 points away from taking the overall. 3 if Jeffrey Hurlings. No, Hurlings will go to 45, won't he? That's right. Thinking out aloud, sorry. Right, here's Geiser. He's in the driving seat in terms of the overall Grand Prix classification here at the final round. The HRC Honda rider. Oh, Hurlings throws it away. He goes down. Oh, it looked like he hit neutral and just had no drive. Hurlings falls from second. That is a massive lifeline to Max Anstey, who's now 3 seconds clear of Hurlings with 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MXGP race 2 here at Villars-sur-Écault. Right, there's Fevre. He's over the line in 4th. Wow, he's 21 seconds behind Tim Geiser. That's a big ask. Even if he is 2 seconds a lap quicker than the Slovenian, he is not going to be on the podium unless something happens to any of the top 3 guys ahead of him. Here is Geiser. He was immaculate in Moto number 1 to bring it home for the win. And equally smooth here in Moto number 2. 3rd at the moment. Three Grand Prix victories so far this year, Tim Geiser. Back-to-back wins, Patagonia in Argentina, Leon in Mexico. And right now, he's looking at taking his 4th victory of the season. Picked up the win last time out in Sweden. Had a rough ride in the Netherlands a week ago when he crashed out spectacularly along the waves on the route towards the finish line area. Over the bars, bike spat him out after cheering him up good and proper. But this weekend, he has been just controlled. Anstey now 7.2 seconds clear after that mistake from Hurlings. So 5 minutes plus 2 to go. The longest 5 plus 2 for Max Anstey. Already a 6-time Grand Prix winner, Max Anstey, in his MX2 days. His last victory Switzerland 2016. Hasn't won a race in his rookie season, though, in MXGP. Herlings closing in fast, though. It was 7.2 as he hit the line a moment ago. It's not 7.2 now because there's Anstey at the end of the straight, probably around about 4 or 5 seconds. So Herlings digging extra deep. He is wanting and hoping to deny Anstey of those 25 points as he goes after a Grand Prix victory. It's all or nothing for Jeffrey Herlings. Doesn't care about seconds or thirds in terms of overalls. You can see how hard it's pushing on as well. Looking at the first sectors, 28.2 for Herlings, 27.4. Sorry, 28.2 for Anstey, 27.4 for Herlings, 31.9. Anstey at sector 2, 30.3. That gap is coming down every single turn. There is that gap. That's not 7.2 anymore. Anstey has just switched off. I wonder if there was a pit board there that said Herlings had fallen, or if he'd seen that he'd fallen and thought he had a bigger gap. Well, he's going to have to turn it back on again now, because with 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and this race nearing its end, he is going to be put under intense scrutiny now. As Herlings crosses the line, 3.4 seconds down on the Englishman, a 2:02.8 compared to a 59.0 of Herlings. The bullet is on the charge here. He wants to turn the final race of the year into a win and a Grand Prix victory here at Villars-sous-Écot. Evgeny Bobryshev there, just getting lapped. Looks like he'd been down for a lap. Finally got that bike going in 13th position for HRC. But Jeffrey Herlings with just under 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go. A lap ago, he was 7.5 seconds down on Anstey, who just disappears out of shot. This is a battle for the lead. It's all on again, folks. After Herlings made a mistake, he is right there back into contention. He's halved that gap, and it's shrinking every single turn, every single jump. Herlings up on the pegs. His teammate Tony Cairoli deciding, you know what, these conditions, not interested in them. Pulled out of the race just a few laps ago. But Herlings, he's just got his head down. This is real character building stuff. And he's going after Anstey once more. This is a battle for the race win and the overall as far as Jeffrey Herlings is concerned. And it might help Anstey as well. Well, it won't help Anstey as well. It'll keep him on the podium, maybe. We'll see. In fact, it won't. It'll push Anstey off the podium. Possibly. It's going to be tight. Geiser on 45 at the moment. Anstey just a little bit offline at the top of the hill. Herlings looking to push on through. So Geiser will drop from 45 to 42. Herlings will go from 42 to 45. Anstey will go from 43 to 42. So it's going to be very close. And Fevre will stay on 40 unless he can find his way past Geiser, who is still 20-odd seconds further up the track. So, 1 minute 20 to go, 3 laps to go. The final race of 2017. The MXGP of Pays de MONTBELIARD. Has Jeffrey Herlings used all his laminates here? Or is he using roll-offs? Backhand stepping out. This clay-like circuit will catch you out if you disrespect it. There's a 77 of Lupino. He is in 14th place. And there's Geiser coming round to lap him. So Geiser over the line in 3rd. At the moment, he still leads the Grand Prix, but for how much longer? A mistake there on the landing from Anstey. He needs to close the door on the Dutchman. He didn't do that. And Herlings is going to go through at the top of the hill. Side by side. Neither backing down or backing out of the challenge. They're tight, they're locked together. Herlings will cut across and takes the line away from Anstey at the top of the hill. He took a moment to correct himself. He is led for 14 laps, so lap 15. Anstey denied at the moment from a first MXGP race win potentially. Back markers might come into the play as well. One of them almost falling in front of Herlings, right there on that tag Hoyer jump. Herlings Didn't make a great start. He's forced his way into second. He was all over the back of Anstey. He fell, went 7 seconds further back, and now on lap 15 he's found his way there. 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go it was when he made the pass stick at the top of the hill. The longest descent on the racetrack. Shed a little bit of timber as well as Jeffrey Hurlings. Not clean through the waves. It's not done yet, folks. Anstey goes to the inside. Oh, he goes to make a move. Look how deep it was. Both riders making mistakes here. Both going for the win. Anstey all over the place as he tries to get the power down on that big 450 Husqvarna. 1.3 seconds in it as they cross the line. Well, if Hurlings thought he was just going to... Watch this here. If Hurlings thought it was win and done, he closed the door. He almost went down. Anstey got on the gas as well. He got offline. Watch this. And Geiser also having his moments. Wow. Treacherous conditions in the final race. Hurlings cannot afford to switch off. Anstey will be annoyed that he has lost the opportunity to lead this race. Doesn't matter now what's happening at this moment in time. It's what happens in 2 laps to go. Who crosses the line for the checkered flag? Hurlings will win the Grand Prix if he stays where he is. Same points as Geiser on 45. Anstey looking to go around the outside. How close was that? Anstey can sense a race win. Stefan Eckerol there just moves out of the way as Hurlings tries to get rid of Anstey, who is going nowhere. Showing pure British spirit. Goes to the inside of Hurlings at the end of the straight, a line that is not used before, unfamiliar territory for the number 99. Hurlings goes to the inside, back ends swapping around all over the place. Untidy laps for both riders. The gloves are off. Absolutely nothing to lose, everything to gain in terms of a race win for Anstey or a Grand Prix win for Jeffrey Hurlings. Man down the other side of the jump there. We are entering the final lap of 2017. Here at Villars-sous-École, the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. Hurlings leads just by Anstey. This is the top 2 riders in the world in this final race of the year. Hurlings and Anstey going for it. Absolutely nothing in it. 6/10 as they cross the line. And Anstey looking to go around the outside. Oh, how cool was that? He pulls a tear off when he was knee-deep in the proverbial. Hurlings hanging on. He's rattled. Anstey, ducks the head. Deflects the roost off the rear end of that Red Bull KTM. It's going to be a mistake that decides this. Oh, Anstey makes one at the bottom of the hill there. Not clean through turn 3. Back marker taking a look back. He knows the leaders are closing in. There's Geiser on a pedestrian stroll on his final lap. Not a care in the world. He'll be on the podium, 2nd overall at the moment, unless Anstey can find his way back past. All of a sudden, somebody's turned on the waterworks this side of the racetrack. The rain teeming down. Hurlings has broken free. That has been a good lap for Jeffrey Hurlings. He might not know that Anstey is a few seconds further back. He's still pushing on. Anstey nowhere to be seen. Back markers in between Anstey and Hurlings. Oh, back end all over the place. You saw that. He has just attacked the second half of this race, Jeffrey Hurlings. He has weathered the storm. He has mastered the conditions. Jeffrey Hurlings 3rd in race 1 on the home straight. One more jump to go, then the final turn. They were 6/10 apart at the start of the lap, but Jeffrey Hurlings, well, he saves the best till last. He wins the race, he wins the Grand Prix as well, and that is a big win for him. Anstey 5.2 seconds behind, denied those 25 points, just like old times between those two from their MX2 and 85cc days. Anstey will be a little bit annoyed with himself because he came so close, but just fell short by 5 seconds in the end. Hurling's your overall winner. Geiser will be second on the same points. Here he is for Team HRC. And Anstey will be on the podium third, the same points as Romain Fevre. Fevre will just miss out on the podium placings here at his home round, the final round of 2017 at Pays de Montbéliard at Villars-sous-Écot. And here he is. He made a poor start. He fell, or he stalled. He bobbled at turn 2, lost some positions, and had to work hard just to get back through the field. By then, Geiser was already too far ahead. But it's been a good ride for him all the same. He will come out firing at the start of 2018, no doubt about it. Just the little matter of the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations presented by Fiat Professional in 2 weeks' time. But here's our overall winner, Jeffrey Hurlings with Lisa.
Jeffrey Hurlings, congratulations. A great end to your season. Another GP victory, but you just couldn't get rid of Anstey.
No, he took the whole shot, and it was very tough to pass. Obviously, I got a really good start that helped me out. Man, the last few laps were on the edge, like so slippery because of the rain, but man, 3 in a row. Could have been 6 without the DNF, but I'm super great and super thankful. You know, I really want to thank my mom. You know, she does everything for me, and we left nothing on the table the last couple of weeks. Same to all the guys at KTM, mainly Pit Bar, for always believing in me, and all the guys from the team. Thank you so much, and it's a good end of the season, so I hope to start like this next year.
Congratulations, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeffrey Hurlings has rounded out the season in some kind of impressive style. Since Russia, where he was on the podium, second overall, just twice he's been denied. Once because of a thrown chain in Sweden, where he was 10th overall, and 4th overall in Lockett. But what an impressive performance here. 5 wins in the last 6 rounds for Jeffrey Hurlings. He was pushed all the way, though, by Max Anstey in race 2 here at Villars-sous-Écot. MXGP race 2, the final race of 2017 here at the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard. Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM, wins it, picks up 25 points ahead of the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Max Anstey, the HRC Honda of Geiser. Fevre from Monster Energy Yamaha 4, Wilbo Yamaha's Tonus was 5, Paul and Van Horbik were 6 and 7, with Strybos Suzuki Wada MXGP coming home 8th. Glenn Koldenoff 9, the Ottaviano Husqvarna of Tanoliak was 10, Simpson 11, Nagel 12, Lupinos, Aston Motor, Red Motor Honda was 13, Gonsalves was 14, Growlers for 24, MX 15, and then Durcourt, Clermont, Thornhill, Eckerholt and Journey Eert. Hurlings, so on the top step of the podium, shares the same points as Tim Geiser, but he had to dig real deep to make that one happen. Anstey on the podium third this weekend at the final round, and that's been a good end for Max Anstey as well. 5th in the US, a brace of third place finishes, Valkenswaard last week, and here in France, 3 podiums now in his rookie season, and he finishes the year 9th overall. Just loses out to his teammate by 3 points, Max Nagel. Kai Rowley, then your world champion. Hurlings, good run in the final few races for him, 2nd. Paul third, De Salle 4th, Geiser 5th, Fevre, Van Horbik and Nagel your top 8. Anstey gains a position to 9th, and Koldenoff ends the year 10th overall in MXGP. KTM dominate the Manufacturers' Championship as well. Husqvarna and Yamaha, your top 3 in 2017. Jeffrey Hurlings' bike just getting prepped, ready for the final podium of the year. It was a hard slog in tough conditions throughout the weekend. Qualifying was tough yesterday. Today was even tougher for everybody out on the racetrack, from the women to the European 250s to MX2 and to MXGP, but it was Jeffrey Hurlings, who was victorious here at the final round of MXGP 2017, the MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard at Villars-sous-Écot. And he was victorious here in 2015 in MX2 as well. So back-to-back wins for the Bullet. And guess what? He grabbed the foxhole shot as well in the final race of the year, and that was his first foxhole shot of 2017. Where were you, Jeffrey? Where were you? Tony Cairoli takes the 10 grand note foxhole shot prize. Of course, he nailed that 15 hole shots for the year. Fans then, those ones there are probably going to make their way home. The fans on the top side of the circuit will make their way to the skybox in the waiting zone to witness the final podium of 2017. Some of them already in place there, flags from various nations. Don't forget, we have one more race to go, folks, which is going to be the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations at Matterley Basin, just a stone's throw away from where Max Anstey was born and raised. Third overall for the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider this weekend, just like he was a week ago at Assen in the Netherlands. Second overall, Tim Geiser. He came so close to taking the final Grand Prix win of the season, but a share of the points for Team HRC's Slovenian star. Seems happy enough, though. Jeffrey Hurlings, the Bullet, the Red Bull KTM rider from the Netherlands, stands on the top step of the podium here at Villars-sous-Écot for the 6th time in 2017. Dirk Grubel, the man, the mastermind behind the MX2 side of that Red Bull KTM garage, stands on the top step of the podium as well. He will accept the manufacturer's trophy with open arms, I'm sure. Silverware, though, Max Anstey starting to gather quite a bit of that this year now. Charles Demouge handing him that third place trophy in what was a tough GP here this weekend. Tim Geiser takes his second place trophy from Jean-Pierre Muguin, CNOSF Vice President. And for the 6th time this year, Jeffrey Hurlings will take a winner's trophy. Dr. Wolfgang Schrubb, the FIM Europe president, on hand to deliver that. Jeffrey Hurlings looking across thinking, hang on, you've got bigger trophies than me. How does that work? The manufacturer's trophy to Dirk Grubel. Charles Demouge once again taking a winner's trophy on behalf of Jeffrey Hurlings' side of the garage. Great to have the support from the local community here as well. Couldn't do it without those guys. Other dignitaries here as well. But Tony Cairoli, of course, will stand on the podium for the final time. Looks like he's got his Team Italy helmet all ready to go. Does have a 222 on the side, though, but Tony Cairoli takes his gold plate from Mr. Tony Skillington, the FIM CMS director. We'll see him in a moment collect his gold medal as well, along with Jeffrey Hurlings and Gauthier Paulin, 2nd and 3rd in the championship. But this moment right now belongs to Jeffrey Hurlings and his Dutch fans all over the place. The national anthem for the Netherlands is next. National anthem for Austria for winning manufacturers KTM up next. Your top three overall here at the final MXGP of the season. The MXGP of Pays de Montbéliard, Villars-sous-Écot, Jeffrey Hurlings, Tim Geiser and Max Anstey. But Tony Cairoli was crowned world champion a week ago, and here's why. Tony Cairoli started the season victorious in Qatar with an emphatic double moto victory. During the course of the year, he won at home in Trentino, in Germany at Teufelstal, at home again in Lombardia, Ottaviano, Portugal. The Czech Republic was his final race of the year, or final Grand Prix win of the year, I should say, but he was world champion for a ninth time, last time out in the Netherlands at Assen. Tony Cairoli this year took 9 race wins, 6 Grand Prix victories, the same as Jeffrey Hurlings, and in total 12 podiums in 2017. Just one more matter to attend to, and that is going to be the top 3 positions in the final classification of the 2017 MXGP World Championship. Gold, silvers and bronze at the ready. Third overall, Gauthier Paulin will receive his bronze medal in front of his home fans here. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider had a tough GP this weekend, but he does round out the season third overall. Jeffrey Hurlings fell short in the end. Interesting to see if he had the same kind of form at the end of the year. If he had had that at the beginning of the year, how this championship would have played out. But Tony Cairoli was there right from the very first Grand Prix. He built up a massive lead. He won with a round to go. A Red Bull KTM 1-2, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna third. Tony Skillington, the FIM CMS director, handing out the medals here today. Gauthier Paulin third, Jeffrey Hurlings second overall. And Tony Cairoli for the ninth time will receive a gold medal. A 9-time world champion now, Tony Cairoli. There's your top 3 from 2017. Antonio Cairoli, Jeffrey Hurlings first and second for Red Bull KTM. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna on the right there. Well, Gauthier Paulin third overall in 2017. And that is your final podium, folks, of the season. Tony Cairoli will have his moment on his own with Tony Skillington and David Luongo. It's your winner's shot right there. And just one more race to go for 2017. The FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations, presented by Fiat Professional, in 2 weeks' time at Matchley Basin in England. So in just a couple of minutes then, or a couple of moments, we will grab a quick word with our top 3 in the championship. Paul Jonas enjoying his moment on the podium once more time. But Lisa Leyland is down there and hopefully getting ready to talk to Tony Cairoli, Jeffrey Hurlings and Gauthier Paulin.
Congratulations, Tony. Difficult last round, but it doesn't matter. You've got another title. You waited a long time for this, but some outstanding performances and some very smart racing over this season has got your 9th world title.
Yes, I'm very happy. This is what we work for. Yeah, this last race was very difficult for me. You know, I had 1 week very busy, and yeah, I had no, motivation, a lot, to to racing. I was looking forward already for next year. So you know, it's okay like this. You know, it can happen. You know, even on the mud like this. You know, if you have a bad start like I had first moto, I could come through. But you know, was not the there was not the anger. You know, that I had when I had to fight for the title. So it's okay like this. Good job for all the KTM team and for Pauls. That I'm very happy for him to win the title.
Congratulations. Thanks, Tony. Second overall in the championship, we have Jeffrey Hurlings. Jeffrey, well, great end to your season, but there's been two of you this year, hasn't there? We've seen a massive change in you physically and psychologically this season. But just tell us, because it has been a bit of a journey for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, you know, beginning of the season, man, it was dramatical. You know, the way I rode, I was battling for 15, that wasn't me. But they managed to do with this little thing, you know, breaking the hand. But no excuses. We still managed to finish second in the championship, and I'm very pleased with that. And then I learned a lot, you know. Beginning of the season, I thought it was going to be a piece of cake, but I had to accept these guys are on a different level, and I think I lived 100% for my sport the last part of the season, and you know, you can see the results. You know, we've been winning the last 5 out of the 6 races, and even in America we won. So I give people something to think about over the winter time, and definitely we're going to go for it next year. This year we were second, so hopefully next year we can go for the top spot. But a lot of good guys, fast guys, so we'll see how it goes. You know, I want to give once more a special thank you to Red Bull KTM. They were stuck behind me all year long in the bad times, but also now in the good times. They've always been there for me already for almost 10 years. So thank you, Pit, for everything. I love you, and get healthy quick.
Congratulations. Thank you, Jeffrey. Third overall in the championship, we have Gauthier Paulin. Gauthier, a tough final round, but let's talk about your season. It's been pretty consistent. You've had 7 podiums, you've had your GP victory. You must be pretty pleased.
You know, it's always good to end up on the podium, especially with the Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing that are pushing so hard behind. I'm having the best team, the great team. It's really awesome to feel that the way they want to walk, you know, they are really premium, and I'm loving it. We have been scoring every moto points, and even with big crash, and even with all shot and winning moto, we had some bad, we had some good, and finally the good payoff. I'm really happy about this season. You know, last year I was way back, and I was looking forward to have the podium this season. Now next year is going to be same goal, and to reach the next step, and to be fighting up front. You know, we had to build it up, and now we have a really big and strong base with together, and it has been tough. You know, a long season, 19 rounds all over the world, and we were loving it, and until the last round in France, which has been raining so hard, but we were there consistent and looking forward to win more moto. But definitely I really want to thank the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing team. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks, Gauthier.
The top 3 in the FIM Motocross World Championship then. Third overall, Gauthier Paulin, 7 podiums en route to that 3rd place. He did get a round win, a Grand Prix victory at Valkenswaard at the Round of Europe earlier on in the season. And he's been Mr. Consistent all year long. Second overall for Jeffrey Hurlings. 6 Grand Prix wins, winning 5 of the last 6 rounds in what has been a devastating second half of the season for the Bullet. He will surely, as he says, give people something to think about over the winter. But Tony Cairoli, a 9-time world champion. He was on fire right from the very first round in Qatar. He added wins in Trentino, Teushenthal, Lombardia, Portugal, and the Czech Republic. He won it with a round to go. The top 3 in the MXGP Championship 2017. Tony Cairoli, Jeffrey Hurlings, and Gauthier Paulin. And that's it for MXGP, but don't forget, in 2 weeks' time, the final race of the year, the big one. The FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations, presented by Fiat Professional at Matterley Basin in England. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.